myself, Commissioner Singleton, and co-chair, Commissioner Henderson. Staff is Deputy Director Clark and Code Enforcement Darlene Jones, City Manager and City Clerk, and citizens. First item on the agenda is the metric report, public safety and code enforcement.
I will let code enforcement go first. I'm still trying to figure out where it was saved.
Okay. Okay, this is the activity report for October 2019. This is the October report 2019 from the Code Compliance Department. For the month of October, wasn't really a whole lot going on, but we have started our rental registrations for the year, which will run through mid-March. Also, we're seeking we're seeking employment for another full-time code enforcement officer due to the fact that the one that we're having, he's now fire marshal, which is a good thing. I'm very proud of him. He does help out when he can. So we're in the process now of setting up interviews and hoping to find someone real soon, hopefully by the 1st of next month at best. We have had less complaints about the alleys, which is good. That's progress. Not saying that it's perfect, but it's progress. So we had about 3 complaints of alleys for the month of October versus 20 complaints in September. So that's pretty good, I thought. Violations have come to a minimum as well, like things on tree lawn, furniture, rubbish, debris. We're 4 less this month than we were in September. So instead of us having the total of 7 for September, for October, we only have 4. Also for building permits, they've been coming in pretty good. For October, we have pulled in 13 building permits with a total of $9,186.80 with a grand total construction fee of $669,869. Electrical permits were 7 for the month of October, and the total fees there was $1,490 with no construction value at all. So that was basically pretty much what's been going on for October so far in code compliance.
Before we move on, any questions for code enforcement?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to ask the gentle lady there if she could give me any information about any alleys, and I know there is some that they're the access for the people to get to their parking. They don't park on the street. And I used to have a list of it and I can't find it. And I know it's something that needs to be addressed because these people only can use their alleys. And we need to make sure that we note them. So if you can find that.
I can do that.
Okay. And then the next question I asked you about, do we have anything on the books about rooming houses? Houses that are shared by multiple people. Single family houses shared by multiple people.
That I do not know if we have that on the books, but I can look into that for you. I know it's a such thing that we do have rooming houses, but not, I don't think, not like what you're trying to say. I don't think we have anything of that nature. I truly don't think we do, but I will look into it and we'll let you know.
Okay, and then if possible, you let Commissioner Henderson know if we don't, we need to.
Okay.
So that'd be something from in your committee.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Public safety. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready now.
Okay.
So for the month of October, metrics wise, we had 663 calls for service, 56 arrests total, 51 adult, 5 juvenile. At least 4 of these juvenile arrests were related to stolen cars. 1 juvenile was picked up twice in 2 different stolen cars. Also for the month, we had 27 citations issued. Our fire calls for the month were 32 fire calls with 3 actual fires in buildings. The rest were alarms and that sort of thing. Also for the month, excuse me, we did quite a bit of training. Roughly 3/4 of the department went through legal update training, and half the department went through driver's training. We also sent 4 officers off to become instructors in various mediums to help with our training next year, to try and keep more of that training in-house instead of having to farm out other ways. So, and for more in-depth numbers, we'll get that to you soon. The director, he got sick, and so he's kind of dumped this to me at the last minute.
Any questions for Department of Public Safety?
Mr. Chair and everyone, want to let you know that the sheriff is warning about these theft vehicles. Please lock your cars. We're finding that more cars are being stolen just because they've been left unlocked. So help our people stay out of jail by locking your cars.
All right, next item on the agenda, discussion of the ordinance for recreational marijuana.
Okay, let's start the conversation. Everyone knows the history of recreational marijuana. It's passed by the people, and we, the city, has opted out until we can put some regulations together. And there's quite a few municipalities that do have some things together that's working for them. And so we have waited a long time, and this has been passed for a while. So we need to move forward with this as quickly as possible, because the state also has a social equality program that's geared just for the Benton Harbor residents, so they can go in the business, in the marijuana business. They can get their records expunged if they have a marijuana charge against them. The state of Michigan is reaching out to them, and we need to do our best to make some small business owners of our residents.
Do you know how this information is being communicated, disseminated?
It's a new thing. You either look at what Colorado went through, what Philadelphia, California, they all did it before us, but in Michigan, there's just a few municipalities that have already started their procedure. I just say that we need to kick this can down the road until we get a good ordinance and to protect our people.
Okay, but sure that some will be coming to legislative committee to deal with some ordinances. But back to the, you talked about the opportunities and stuff for folks who have been convicted or about getting expunged and all that. Is it a way of us getting that information out more? We have the communications committee thought of any ways to?
Well, right now, the only means of communication that we have is YouTube talking about it in a meeting and people hearing. So far, we have not implicated any other process to talk to the people. I know we have a website, but the state of Michigan has a website, and it's under MRA, recreational marijuana, and it's called the Social equality program. So they were in the city talking to us about it, and they will come back, but we need to find some way to educate the people on it and involve them. It's really important that we give the people the information and allow them every avenue that we can to make them successful in this billion-dollar business.
This ended up on this agenda because I suggested that it go through every committee just to make sure that everybody has eyes on the ordinance, and so that's why this is on this particular agenda.
Okay, all right.
City Manager, did you have something to present to us?
Just to say, hopefully we'll have that ordinance finished and out in committees next month.
That's pertaining to recreational.
Recreation.
Okay.
And then looking to opt back in when you're ready.
So that's the whole chair, to make sure that every committee gets eyes on it before it actually gets approved.
Okay.
So that once it goes to the full commission, everybody, will have seen the ordinance.
Okay. Any other questions on recreational marijuana ordinance? The next item on the agenda to discuss the medical marijuana application.
Mr. Chair, the medical marijuana, we have finished, we finished conversation with all of the provisionals, and we'll be getting packages in on the 22nd to get to you, the commission, to the full commission for your review. And we're looking to have them on the 16th, we're looking to bring them to the commission for approval.
Okay.
16th of what?
December.
I'm sorry. I must have missed something while you were talking. The 22nd, we're gonna be giving all the provisions.
All of the provisional
And the
packages.
16th, we're gonna get what?
Then we'll have to come to you when you have your review for council commission meeting and for approval of 4.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the medical marijuana application? Next item on the agenda to discuss the lead and copper sampling. I believe Mr. O'Malley from the water plant is here.
We can give it to him tomorrow. Yes, but a copy of the letter. He's gonna talk about it.
You want to sit over there where you can talk on the mic? That one don't work, do it? No.
No.
there.
If you want to go over there with the staff there, you got to work it, might go over there.
Come right here.
Yeah. Either one you want.
Come on.
He might hit me.
Hang on.
I need you close to me. You go wherever you want.
Thank you for giving me some of your time. As you know, back in 2018, we exceeded the lead action level for lead in the drinking water supply. And we were charged by the state of Michigan, formerly known as the MDEQ, now known as EGLE, E-G-L-E, that's Energy, Great Lakes, and Environment, to conduct 2 sets of 60 samples to collect, or 60 homes to collect 2 samples each home and have it submitted for testing. So far, we've only managed to collect 6, actually 7. And the results actually are looking kind of favorable to the city residents, because it appears as though the corrosion treatment system that we installed back on March 26th, has been running every day since, is having an impact sooner than what they had told us it would be. They were telling me 18 months, maybe 24. But here it is, 9 months. And I saw results from homes that had a high level of lead in June, having a lesser level of lead now in our last test went out in October, end of October, or near the end of October. So what I was hoping that you would allow me to do is to get the word out, or help me get the word out to, so I have seven samples. I need 53 more. And one of the means that we've used to vet out some sampling is with help from the staff, Tony particularly, and Lisa behind her, next to her. We've come up with a list of folks that are either residents of the city of Benton Harbor and live in the city of Benton Harbor. And then, of course, all of you commissioners, you all live in the city of Benton Harbor. And we put together a list of 25, which I would like to get started on, get a letter out to each of you, and get you to participate. We drop off a box of bottles. The state now requires 5 samples. The first draw, that's what we always used to do. Then they give you bottle 2, bottle 3, bottle 4, and then we sample bottle 5, which is supposed to be kind of indicative of what may be a lead service line in the street or near the sidewalk, or even farther out into the street. And that has, the last time we did that notoriously, the number of lead there was dramatically larger than the number of lead found in the first one. The first one being basically all your kitchen faucets and stuff. But that 5th one is the water that probably came maybe 50, 60, 80, 100 feet from your home, where that lead might exist. And through our experiences now, well, my experiences since I got back here in 16, I've uncovered a lot of lead lines in the city during breaks and stuff. And the issue got tighter and tighter, and of course then we hit the action level. So I'm going to send out a pile of 25 letters in the morning, some of them addressed to y'all. Just going through this, and in the meantime, I have records that I have never been able to vet. They were created by Eddie Ward a long time ago, of what he thought were known service lines. And I've taken that information out of that and offered it to each of the addresses I'm sending it to. This one here, for example, I say believes to be a 3/4 inch lead service in the road. I've got others where it's unknown, but properties around that house show up in Ed's data. So I say unknown, but probably has a lead service. I've got a few where the state now is very concerned when we dig up a broken water pipe and it's a piece of lead and we undo it. If we don't continue on into the house, we're actually violating the law, because from this, they call it a partial lead service line replacement, and it must be done, or I have to provide it eventually, soon after I fix the leak and stop the emergency. So, that's what I wanted to come here for. Oh, and one additional thing, since we take so many water quality parameter tests to generate corrosivity in water, I added the fourth bottle and put a cap on it, and that one will be used only at the water plant staff to measure those corrosivity characteristics, and we'll keep track of that. All of that information will be shared with the person who took the sample. And as I've done many times in the past, that will not become public knowledge as far as I'm concerned. You'll receive a code, and only you and I will know the code. Even if the state wants it, they won't get it. Now, we do have a relationship with the Department of Health and Human Services to protect that address, so they're entitled to look at it, and they have been in Benton Harbor many times, the Department of Health and Human Services, to visit homes that I have told them we found lead at. And as you know, the state and the county have been very helpful in terms of our lead problem. And just for giggles, I went out on the web because, years ago, the state said they would be transparent. Well, they're finally there. They have a list of all of the exceedances, all of the lead levels, actually. So I put together the exceedance list here in Michigan. There are 25 of them total now, 25, anywhere from large cities to trailer parks that had a lead exceedance. I wanted to do that because I wanted to say, yeah, finally, I'm not alone in this Michigan lead world. You've probably all heard about Eau Claire. So there's one place that's on this list, and it has a population pretty small, like 610. Ours is 9,639. Any questions?
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Yeah, quick question. I know you were saying you were sending them out to the commission families, but if there are other families that need this test, I would rather other residents get that test versus, because I have mine.
They have to volunteer.
They have to volunteer.
That's why he's asking you and us to volunteer.
I got to do everything I can. If you recall, in June, I had to have 60 samples. I sent out 60 sets of bottle. I got 47 responses. And then Mr. Mitchell and I received a notice of violation that fortunately I don't have to publish until the CCR goes out, but we're getting pretty tired of getting notices of violation. So in my last go around, I put, and I'll do it again this time, I asked the homeowner if he'd be willing to do it the next time and the next time. Because the original that the EPA wanted it to be the same house year after year after year. Well, I did get about, out of those 47, I had about 20 some that said yes. And like I said, we sent out 8 sets of samples to the yesers. One of them is sitting here in our audience, except I haven't been to his home. Another good thing about this, number one, it gives us, if I have a record, it vets the record. If the house comes back with no lead, then I'm going to be able to take that off the list. And we can not worry about that one anymore. If I could get one that comes back and says some lead, then it stays on the list and eventually it'll have to be replaced. And the way the state has this set up, it's replacement at the city's expense from the pipe all the way to the inside the house. It's a lot of work. Yes, so, and the one last bonus is the houses that I know have lead or think they have lead or have seen the free test results, the other kind of results, and it's less today than it was then. It just keeps enforcing the fact that our corrosion control system is effective for our entire town. So your house is, if I vetted it out and I saw a piece of lead in the pipe, well, probably everybody around you. So I could ask you to go even further and say, hey, I got this letter and Mike says it's probably all around our address, and ask them to volunteer to join us. I might send some away and they may be disappointed, or I might get just enough and I won't get another notice of violation. Any more questions?
Got a suggestion, maybe, since you're short, how many you say you're short?
Well, I need 60. I have to get 53 more.
Maybe we can get some help from
Right here,
the water council too.
right here.
Well, it's only 9 folks to do, but
Yeah.
but
There's no 5 weeks.
yeah, but
Absolutely, I was just like, I've been asking, I think you want all 54, I'll give it all 54.
yeah. So you got
I don't know what a water council is.
okay. Well, there's some people that's been working on helping folks with stuff, so maybe they know some folks who want to get tested and can give some.
Well, that'd be great if that would get shared. Yes. Now, keep in mind, I'm not sure what the water council does. I'm a little hesitant because
They're gonna do what you
ask, yes. Well, what it is because we're a community water supply, we only can do the work required by a community water supply, and it has to go to an approved, state of Michigan approved community water supply laboratory.
All they would be doing is giving you.
Giving me the addresses would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's all.
And I've made Kay the recipient of phone calls, or Tony, I'm sorry. I called her Kay. I'm sorry. And I'll tell you, she works at the water plant now. Antonia,
Hi, it sure would be nice to meet people.
you just did.
I mean, yeah.
She volunteered to come.
Introduction.
She volunteered to come.
My name is Antonia Wade, and I am the administrative assistant at the Big Harbor Water Plant.
Nice to meet you. Welcome aboard.
She lets people in and out of the door. She helps me with my book work, and she takes the phone calls. Her number is on this letter, and I'll give it to you right now. And it's 269-447-1945. And she will keep track of these things and keep me abreast so that we can build this list and get these folks sampled as best we can. Now, it's not the free testing we did before, but the test is free. It's at the city's expense. There's no money involved from a resident. Just the bit of inconvenience we're causing. We need the water to sit 6 hours. Easiest way is to do it when you wake up in the morning, or if you go to work, when you get back from work. If nobody has touched the water in those 6 hours, that qualifies really well, and the test results are reliable. If it gets mixed up, not so reliable, but that stuff happens.
Okay, Commissioner.
Through the chair, thank you, Chairman Singleton. I guess my first question would be to Mr. O'Malley. After giving him an appreciation and a thank you for all he does, I'm glad I'm not the one that has to do it. But are you up to the task?
I have your letter
Okay,
right here.
all right, I'm gonna do my part.
I have every commissioner's letter here.
My second question would be, are we allowed to work with, an organization, I think it's Freshwater Future, was it? That we were privy to meet earlier this year, City Manager, Mitchell through the chair. This organization, actually helps communities with the issues of their water within their communities. I guess I'm just bringing it up because we need all hands on deck. And especially if there's some funding available through this organization, because it's no secret that our system that we're sitting on is over 100 years old, and that's probably America itself is crumbling and falling apart.
Absolutely.
And I hate that I missed this, this other one up above, the medical marijuana, because people don't know, but those that have done their research, lead can lead to epilepsy.
But I'll do my part, and maybe we can get some of those done through by way of some of the pastors in the community with the churches. Thank you, appreciate you.
Just so you know that, City Manager, Mr. Mitchell, and I are in contact with, no, we're in contact with a group that wants to help us organize all our records and predict where we may or may not have lead to worry about and build a state required report. And actually, they hope that their project will be funded by the state of Michigan.
They hope.
No, they're pretty confident.
Well,
He did the same task in, okay, yes, he's pretty confident.
okay, good deal. Thank you.
Commissioner Axel.
Yes, Edward Isom, Mr. to the chair, to Mr. O'Malley, the treatment, this corrosive treatment, is it any, what kind of side effects? What is the treatment? What is this, some kind of chemical?
It's been developed into a pretty reputable treatment. The chemical itself is called orthopolyphosphate. And what orthopolyphosphate is apt to do when it gets in the water supply, we feed it at 1.5 milligram per liter, which is kind of small, lower than our chlorine. But at any rate, it's supposed to, what they call sequester out the lead and other heavy metals, but this particular one is targeted almost directly at lead and form a film. And that film is to coat the inside walls of the piping. So at some point in time, if it's all the way coated all the way around, the water is no longer in contact with the lead or the galvanized or whatever material the pipe's made of. So, it probably, even though I don't want to bring this up, it was the treatment being used at the Detroit Water Works, where Flint turned it off.
Wow. So it won't harm the taste of the water?
No, you'll never notice. It's been in there since March 26th.
So with this testing, you expect lower the
That's what I'm hoping for, that we're coating more and more of these lead pipe walls that we seem to have almost everywhere.
You never go down, you won't have to go in and change pipes and stuff like that.
Well, that's part and parcel, but the whole idea is to protect ourselves, to protect the folks, especially the youngsters or the elderly.
Mr. O'Malley, before I get to you, like, I know one time it was a question about the staff level in the water plant. Is that being addressed too?
That has been addressed. Yes.
Thank you, through the chair, to the chair, Madam Chair, co-chair. I need to leave. I just wanted to bring something to the attention for public safety. It's the 5th week now since the armory has not been boarded up. The front windows have been out. So we're going to the 5th week. The windows are not boarded up. They're broken out again. So just bring it to everybody's attention, okay? Thank you. Yeah, they're still not done. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
How you doing?
Sure.
Public safety?
Public safety.
Okay, public safety. My name is Eugene Anderson. I'm part of the Benton Harbor Community Water Council. And yesterday we had a meeting, there's a few of us, we had a meeting with the city manager. We met with the city manager and we explained to him that we wanted to work with the city and let the city know what our progress was. We're gonna give an evaluation report on all the upcoming events that we're having by giving out water filters to the citizens of the city. We also told the city manager that if we come in contact with individuals, when we start water testing, we have a list. We want to give that to the water department so that the water department can help the citizens of the community. And we just wanted the city to know, we're just here, want to work together with the city. we already got our hands, and we already did them with, I think it was fresh water, and also with the health department. We work hand in hand with the health department. So we kind of like doing our part. We kind of like doing the groundwork, the footwork, knocking on door to door, talking to the citizens and asking them have they had their water tested. We keep them the data with that, and then we want to turn this data over to the city. That's what we're doing. So we just wanted the public safety to know that's what we're doing right now.
Well, definitely thank you and your organization for, because, with this, it's been a big issue in, actually, not only in Benton Harbor, so we glad that, several people and groups are getting involved to, just bring awareness and going out and doing whatever they can to identify any bad spots and, even with the test, I know you said that, the certain test that you have to have is got to be done, to, I guess, keep the, what is
The water test got to be sent out to the state.
right. But
They got to verify it.
Okay.
Then it comes back.
If the chain of custody or something to make it official reports, but even the unofficial reports, we'll help out because that would help identify spots. And then if it's bad enough, that somebody could go out and get another testing of it to make it definitely an official report. So me personally, as the chair of this committee and as a commissioner and citizen, I appreciate the work that your organization is doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think we started back in maybe June, somewhere around up in there. And I think we can hand it out at least over 500 filters so far working with the health department. So that information, as soon as we get that data from the health department, we'll be handing that over to the city manager to show him what we're doing.
Thank you, sir. Anybody?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I want to show you that my formula is working. When the citizens can steal my thunder, that's very good.
All right.
Here comes the commissioner.
Commissioner Henry.
I just want to bring this committee back to some of the things that we started looking at in the last couple of months. Gene Clark Park was one of them. We need to do whatever we need to do with this park that generates a lot of money, just not generating enough. So we need to look at Gene Clark Park again and enhance it as much as we can through this committee. Also, the PGA, their contract is over and we haven't heard anything from them, and 2020 will be here in shortly of no time, and we need to step up. Because that $2,200 that they paid us for the PGA to be here is not enough. And so we need to have that conversation as to how we're gonna handle the PGA or how they're gonna treat Benton Harbor.
Yes, sir.
Renegotiate.
Okay.
So if I'm
We'll take
asking the
notes.
chair to put those two back on the agenda,
If you can remind me, or if it's quick to put something down, so.
Mr.
next month
Chair,
we'll talk about
some people steal my thunder and some don't.
it.
come on, you got something to say
I
about
have
them 2 issues?
something to say about both issues.
Oh, you in the right gender to do it, okay. I thought we was gonna close the meeting now without getting any more.
All right, point of order. Okay.
We-
Chair recognized city manager.
We will be, and we have started already preparing for Gene Clark Park, and we will be meeting during the winter to come up with something for changes to the park.
Can I
As
ask you
far
who
as-
we is?
We is my team. We are my team.
All right.
I'm sure bringing stuff back to the committee for discussion, so.
That is correct.
Yes. staff doing their job. We appreciate you.
Can I ask you the time frame you can bring it back to us, city manager?
We'll be doing this over the winter and have it ready for spring opening.
For the PGA,
I'm getting ready to get to the PGA.
oh, okay, sorry.
It's all right, no problem. Learning time. We've been in contact with the PGA and I'm waiting on their contract to come. Hopefully we'll have it, in the next one or two meetings, but they said they didn't have it ready yet.
Okay.
Did anything change?
I haven't seen it yet.
Jesus.
It's not ready yet.
So they're just gonna submit what they want us to sign, and then we,
No, they're going to submit what they want to submit. Then we'll take it apart and make a count on
May is right around the corner. Are we gonna make it in time? If they submit it in 2 months? You know,
it. No,
normally,
not too much.
There's always, option two of calling a special, park recreation and public safety committee meeting too, so, so timelines. We gotta get something in hand first, so we can get to looking at it. Commissioner Adams. Oh, excuse me.
Okay,
City
we're
manager,
all,
was you?
I'm finished, yes.
we're all fresh water, water and lead. I just have a question before you close out, since we have time. Some people are leaving, but I have a question, in regards to the, medical marijuana applications that I missed. And the question is, the information that we have that belongs to other people is very valuable information. I would hate for somebody to just have mine just unattended. But do we need a resolution to come forth to turn those binders back in with the information for the city of Benton Harbor to shred that material, or what? The documentation of it and everything.
If you want that information back, then you want the binders.
Binders back, but we need to find out about the content of the application.
Did we scan those? Are they filed? The applications themselves?
We haven't filed, but we'll give you an answer once I talk to you.
Okay, but I think we need to turn all of that
Yeah.
information back in with the binders and just shred the information if they've been scanned, that's all. Thank you.
I
Commissioner.
just have a question, just an update on the bridge project on Main Street. Anybody has any information? Main Street.
The Main Street Bridge was open, but they closed it because of the weather. That was pretty slippery down there. And,
I'm asking because there are people who had concerns who walk across, who have to go to the courthouse and that kind of thing. That has issues
it's open,
with getting across.
it's open.
I'm trying to shut.
At least it was open, it's
One side
been
was-
closed
one-
now
one was
because of the
closed and one
weather.
was open.
Right.
Turn around down there, you can't go across.
It ain't never-
So I was wondering, was there any
Mr.
updates on
O'Malley
what's
says
happening?
it's open.
Mr. Malley said it was open today.
It was open today, it's yesterday. it was- Okay.
It never flooded.
Okay, Ms. Kennard.
Yes, my question is to Mr. O'Malley. We were thinking of, at one time, I have been to the water, the building.
Mhm.
And, I noticed that you can walk in, and sometimes I have walked through there in the past. How safe is it now? I haven't been in there recently, but I want to know how safe is the
The pack,
building? How safe is the building? Is there security there?
it's locked. You can't get in. You can buzz and Tony can let you in
Uh-huh.
if you're at the door, like a vendor or something, or one of our employees, but it's locked. And
Okay, I
only the
know
people
from
that work
that
in
one
there have
side, excuse me, I know from that one side there that where a lot of the community in that area used to be able to come through there onto Gene Clark Park. And in that side door there was the entrance,
The gate.
as to where,
And as I was explaining to you yesterday, the security measures are in place and they're gonna get even tighter.
All right,
That is what I said yesterday.
all right. Stay tight up.
Okay, I'd just like to add too, since we did have some extra time, especially if you come to the Public Safety Committee meeting, we don't waste no time, so you might want to get here early, so you might miss some. But also, I would like to see, because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of information shared in this committees. We talked about the water and, even the medical marijuana, and then even the veteran reports. Since I've been on the commission, I always talk about the communication. So I guess when the next communications committee meeting?
The 25th.
Okay. I'll be there to make some suggestions that hopefully we can get some things done to continue to help get the word out to the community. There's all kind of avenues that we can do. A lot of it don't cost a lot, but some might cost some. But I think the more we keep our community informed about things, the better things go. There also be less misinformation, and they probably also get more people involved because they know what's going on. So I'll be there to give some suggestions as they come to me. So Commissioner Adams.
I'm listening while you're killing time. I just sat up here with those so I can help you peel some more.
Commissioner Adams.
I have one thing, I know with my school that I work at tomorrow, is parent teacher conferences, so we're giving out information in regards to the water where people can get filters and printed off some things from the health department in regards. So this is interesting to have all this on there so that parents, people that live in the community will have access and know where to get the information. So they need to know. So print it off. Some information that was on our website and the health department, which lists Auckland and Benton Harbor for people who wanted to get free testing, because people were still asking questions about that. So we're trying to get the information out. We had known that we could have these tests done all 60 people.
That still got a long way to go.
Quick question, where can people come besides the health department? The Benton Harbor Charter does it certain times of the month. You said that you guys are doing water filters. Where can people go to get that?
Church.
What?
275.
275 Pike Road.
Thank you.
It's the art and culture building there.
Yeah.
I don't even think the health department has that listed on their website. There were 3
They should
places.
have. They've been over there every time they have an event. They're over there every time they have an event.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying they should have them listed.
Information on filters.
They should have them listed.
They should be on there with the water.
So what?
Thank you.
Speak up.
Put it on the website.
I'd like to touch base on something one of the residents just touched base on. Something that's been a concern of mine for probably, 10, 15 years now. Sitting right down there at Jewel, our armory, that we paid Abby Marsh a lot of money to secure, and it still isn't. And I think it's been, 2-3 months now. I'm not sure if the chair is still there. I haven't been down here in a couple of days. I usually ride when I just ride that way or anything. A chair that somebody put up to that one window. And it's almost scary to think that somebody's been going through the window with glass, kind of like sticking out, well, there's no more glass. But I'm sure birds and other animals have just been having a great time. If we can check with Avon Marsh and see why they still have not secured that building, it's just been a couple of years now. They started off boarding up, now they bricked up. That I think we paid almost $200,000 for. It could have been done for probably 50,000.
Sure. City manager.
The order just went out.
Thank you.
You see how things get done?
Give that man.
The other thing that we have, since we getting into this early, this winter is kind of like, hurt on us real early. Something I noticed, especially during this, past election season here, when it got cold, the homeless folk, people who are, the shelter, they put those folk, they put them out early in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and let them fend for themselves till 7 o'clock, I guess, in the evening time. And so, I made contact already and been discussing with, one church who have, volunteered to, open up a warming center. Commissioner Jones, we met with, one of the pastors at, his name of the church, right there at McGuigan in, Fair Avenue. Mount Olive, okay, that, have, volunteered to, matter of fact, they started today, really. And we need to start passing the word out. I seen folks just, they depend on the library to open up, and if the library's closed, now they walking around. It so happened that one day, Saturday before election, City Hall was open, and they were kind of like hanging out in the hall, just looking for a place to get warm,
Well, can somebody
And
answer this one?
And that's just, I think they need to do something different. If they're gonna be a shelter, they need to have something for them to, do all day.
We live in a society that will lock you up if you leave your dog outside in freezing temperatures. But you put a flesh and blood human being out in the cold freeze. Will somebody please make that make sense to me?
Or what happens too, they hang out at the store or something, then they get profiled, they get the police call on them, and,
And then they can get 3 hot.
end up in jail.
That's sad.
Some rather go to jail just to be, and that's bad.
It is, because some people just need a hand up. And I'm thinking that if we had something like an armory up and operating and start some type of program that could possibly turn over into a summer program and start some type of cleanup along our streets with some of these homeless people and put forth an initiative to pay them, right now they don't even get $3.85 an hour. If they could just get something close to a minimum wage and help to upkeep the armory and other things. Like, I'm sure somebody can come in here, one of the homeless ones, to get a bag and clean their vacuum, dust the tables off and stuff. I mean, you would be surprised at how grateful a person would be as opposed to a person you get $20 to.
There's, all kind of things that we can do, then.
I know.
For the, immediate thing, though, to keep them warm.
Yes.
Go to, there's a whole bunch, there's all kind of churches around here, I mean, 3 or 4 on every corner, and,
Shouldn't be homeless.
Yes, somebody should be able to, open the door and say, hey, come in and get warm,
If they would take a heart.
Yeah, well, we need to start here and go to our pastors and.
Yeah.
Folk who.
We need to fix our armor.
And ask to say, hey, let's, this is the problem we have, and what can you do to help out? So, Commissioner Jones, you got.
To add with that, what we were talking about with the homeless, if you think about it, there's a lot of initiatives that have been happening here in the past few years. One of them was doing a MBK study when they did the City Hall and also helped with Ms. Lynn Todman study. A lot of those things we need to utilize a little bit more and differently because these things already been reported, all right? We need to take more advantage of that and hold these people that's doing these so-called reports a little more to cause to probably better help us with these different types of solutions. Since they already put a report out there about these things that are deficient here in the community, we need to hold them tighter to it and find a better solution on how to solve that and not make these quick decisions to do different things. That's only gonna last, what, a few weeks? Then we go back to business as usual. To say that we did our good deed for the day, let's forget about it. So think about what we did with the MBK study. Think about what Student Jones did alleviate the library as part of the homeless initiative along with the veterans. And the study that was conducted by Ms. Lynn Todman and started putting that stuff to use. And also asked these people that's been doing these studies exactly where to get these numbers for so y'all can better attack them. Just a small suggestion.
Also, using those numbers to get some type of, grant writers, philanthropist money and stuff, help in those situations, because, just doing study to do the study, and, don't do nothing, it's really counterproductive, so I agree with you there.
I have one more question.
Commissioner Henderson.
Each person has tasks.
This is, for the clerk. Deputy Clerk, the Fidelity Building, I guess there was an incident that occurred in that, facility, where a young lady's car was totaled by, one of the homeless people that we're talking about. And she filed a report, with that, on that particular incident, and just wanted to find out, if we could step up patrols, down there.
Okay.
Because residents are letting people inside the building, like you said, to keep warm, or whatever the reason is, they're inside that building. But it's posing a safety hazard to people that live inside.
Okay, I'll pass that along.
I'll give you their name.
Okay.
Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, I have a question. We, you said that you had only one means of informing the citizens about the water, back to the water, because it seems like that's the most important conversation in the room. There was only one way of getting out to the public, and that was through the newspaper. Or if there were other ways, what were those ways?
I'm gonna refer to, the communications chairperson.
There's other ways, but we're not utilizing.
No,
Somebody-
to the chair. I'm asking if this problem didn't just start. So, or if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I always said there's been a lack of getting information out, so
Okay, so
getting her to answer that question. I think she got some ways or some plans or something that works. I'll let her answer that. I can't answer for her.
okay, I'm gonna come right back.
Okay.
Since I didn't get what I was doing.
We're definitely going to be utilizing our website. I would like to see all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. The city needs to have those kind of media. And
If the spirit puts down.
we looking at doing a newsletter, a monthly, or some kind of way, and have all the commissioners add their little bit to it to make it a full package, an informative newsletter. But I guess the main thing is for us to use what we got. And we're working on Channel 98. We got it, but it's not working, and so we have a lot of work to do. But the things that we have, like the website, all of this information should be on the website right now. Although everybody don't use internet like that, but the ones that are 18 to 35, they're the ones that are looking for information and trying to look for ways to become small business. That information should be on our website right now, about the water, about the recreational marijuana. All of that stuff should be there. And if you look at our payment, you always see communication being paid out. And now we need to make sure that communication comes back and is a solid program to make the citizens empowered. Did that help you, Mr. Duncan?
Somewhat. How long are we supposed to just keep guessing about the water? We've been asking questions about it for a long time. Mr. Kennard even sent out to have some water tested. It didn't, I don't think she ever got the answer to that. If you guys don't have any answers, you need to come up with something, because there's a lot more people more concerned than what sounds in this room. So you gotta get the message out. You can look at me till you black in the face, you know, so just do what we're supposed to do for the citizens, because that's what's most important. And I understand you guys got your jobs and everything, and I think you're doing them the best you can, and I know you were left with a lot of this mess on your plate. Just the sooner we know what's going on about the water, and I'm saying we, because I'm gonna say I'm really concerned about the water. And I'd like to make sure all the citizens who are concerned about the water, even more so than a lot of us seem to be concerned. I hear laughs and stuff. I don't see anything funny about it when we have all of these problems. The president, all the major things going on in this city, and then have water come. It's like one drama after another, and then you blame it on citizens, like we the drama. So this is where you can help the citizens out for the most part. Because when the water is gone, or somebody is coming to figure out how to just take it completely, there's another picture. I like to keep us in ownership of what is ours, but I know if we don't do what we're supposed to do, and whatever is needed to do, I'll help. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, before you leave, I just want to.
I'm gonna leave.
I just wanted to give him one answer. Since the council came together, we're doing the ground grassroots, walking door to door. So that's gonna help get that information out, let alone what she said, because we're trying to touch every resident that's in Ben Harbor. So to answer your question, sir, we're trying to touch everyone and let everyone know that they can all get a filter from the health department to answer her question, that because the Ben Harbor residents do have a lead issue, and I'm not saying that it's coming from the water department, that Ben Harbor residents, if you live in the 49022, Benton Harbor City, every resident can get a water filter. And that's why we do it. That's why we going up there. So to help with the lead issue and lead problem, the infrastructure part of it, if everyone get a filter and a replacement filter, because once it goes out 2 to 3 months, you can go right down to the health department and get a replacement filter for free on the health department, you should be protected. That's all I want to say.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Manager.
just to say, Mr. O'Malley gave a pretty thorough report. That's what he was doing, Mr. Duncan. When he was talking about the water, it's not the water at the plant, it's the water in it's the distribution system. And he was talking about the changes in the distribution system that are improving. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to be working with the council where if they identify someone that has a problem, let us know immediately, and we'll get that from Mr. O'Malley as a site to be looked at.
All right. Any other discussions on that?
Anything?
Well, we thank you. This has been a very informative meeting, and see you at the next one.
Can you, let them know that,
It's cold out. Do you really? Because I couldn't make it over. Are you going down?